everybody for, can y'all hear me? Yeah. I want to thank you all for coming. I know that, it's a Monday, and we could be doing something different, but you all chose to come here, so I want to thank you very much for coming. So, anybody can tell me why we are here? You know why you're here today?
She's raising her hand.
Can nobody hear you?
Technically, this program, this E2E program, is educational power. And what we really are trying to get across to the citizens of Milwaukee is that when you have interactions with police, based on why the police are in your neighborhood, how they should act as police officers when they're doing investigations, on top of how citizens should act when they're confronted by the police and they're stopped and they're talked to about a crime that they may be investigating. So that's pretty much what this program is going to be about. So when a policeman stops you, two of the big questions are, why did it happen? And what do you do as a citizen or a witness or possibly even a suspect? And obviously no one here is.
And what this derived from is our program that's called STOP. And that is, anybody know what STOP is? Anybody heard about it?
Students,
I'm going to talk louder. I'll try that.
students talking over police.
Taking over the police. I mean, students taking it over with the police.
All right, so it's students talking it over with police. And about 3 years ago, Chief Flynn knew that there was a problem as far as, the future young leaders were getting stopped on the streets, and they were wondering why. So they were confused about why they were getting stopped, and they were walking home, and they weren't doing anything. So when he realized that, he came to Officer Bill Singleton, who was on a prosecution unit at the time, and asked him to come up with a program that would help us interact better with our future young leaders. So he came up with this course. At first it was like a pilot. It was 3 hours long for the kids. And then for the final program, it's a 7-week program, 1 hour, 1 day for 7 weeks. And they talk about what we do, why we do it, where we do it in the community, so that they can understand how or why they're being stopped. So that's what this is. But this is a smaller version. We only have 2 hours to do it in, so that's why we got to get started, because we condensed that 7-week program into 2 hours for you today, so that you guys can understand also, even if you may get stopped, why you may get stopped in a certain area.
We're also going to give you some information that's going to help you suggest to you the best way to act or how to behave when you're stopped, depending on the stop. If you're in a car, there's going to be certain things that you probably don't want to do in a car when the police pull you over. And after today, we'll tell you about those things, and you'll have a whole different light as to why the police do what they do and some of their tactics. And then you'll start to understand finally that the police are not just harassing, the police are actually doing police work, and they're engaging people in the community to, one, help solve crimes and clean the neighborhoods up.
All right, so introductions. I am Officer Manisha Howard. I've been with the Milwaukee Police for 10 years. I know I don't look that way, but I've been on 10 years. I have 2 beautiful children. I have a son, I have a daughter. One is 8 and one is 4. I actually enjoy coming up here and talking to you guys about this, because I know that there is, I'm not going to say a disconnect, but there's not that communication that we should have as far as being police officers in the community. And I feel that we all need to come together as far as any of the crime that we need to solve on the streets. So.
My name is Troy Karras. I've been with the Milwaukee Police Department now for almost 8 years. Before that, I worked for MPS. Me and my partner, Manisha, here currently work for the Office of Community Outreach and Education. It's a long name for pretty much what we do is we do community things like this. We work inside schools. We work with all the children in the MPS schools. We take calls for service inside of the schools. And obviously we all know that the children in the city of Milwaukee need good role models. A lot of them don't see police as that, but we're trying to change that with the unit that myself and Manisha and there's another 16 of us that are on. I'm 44 years old. I have 2 sons. One is a college graduate, which I'm very proud of. My youngest is a junior at Rufus King High School. And that's about it.
All right, so the only rules that we have is to, if everybody decides their phone, we don't vibrate. Also, at certain times, we'll ask questions and we can get people to raise their hands and we'll call on you so that everybody kind of talking at the same time. And of course, we're all adults here. We know that if you don't treat someone the way you want to be treated, as far as when someone is talking, you're quiet. When you guys are talking, you're quiet.
Why is this program important? Pretty much everything we just stated. This information that we're going to give to you today, that's why we had to take this pre-test. Because hopefully, a lot of the information that we're going to give you, a bulb's going to go off in your head and you'll be like, you know what? I never thought of it that way. I never thought that that's why the police do this. I never thought that that's why the police are in this area. When you see a lot of police at a certain time, after today, you'll understand exactly why all the police are in that area.
I also want you guys to be safe, and we also need to be safe. All right, so some of the agenda we have here, we're going to go over, we already went over the overview, the introduction, violent crime mapping, city ordinances, and then we're going to take, give or take, 10-minute break. Then we're going to go into suspect descriptions, about your rights, police behavior, citizen behavior, and conflict resolution skills. They're really good. A couple of you come up here and become police officers today. So we're going to have a volunteer.
All right, you got a volunteer.
All right, so what you have in front of you, you guys please turn to page 5. Okay, 5 for me. It's the point where you do need a pencil or pen.
If you're sitting next to somebody who doesn't have a pencil, once you finish the police item game, you can just pass your pencil over to the next person and then let them do it. What we want you to do is we want you to pick 5 items on that piece of paper there in front of you. There's 9. The 5 most important items you believe, if you were a police officer, that you would carry on your person. You would use on a daily basis. Which 5 do you think are the most important?
We have to always hear your information. So what we have, the handcuffs, we got the badge, we got the ID, we got our radio, flashlight, gloves, a taser, we have a fire. We have our pepper spray and we have a gun.
So pick 5 out of those 9, what you think are the most important, that if you were an officer, you would carry.
As long as it's doing something, it ain't gonna cut off. Just sit idle, then it'll cut off.
What's your flag number?
Cuffs, badge, ID. I'm telling you. A
Everybody have their
walkie-talkie.
own 5, there are 5, at least you should know. 5 out of circle.
Yes, sir.
Okay, who wants to raise their hand? Who thinks they know the best 5 items on that list? Go ahead, Dan.
The handcuff, the badge, cane.
Miss Katie's got the floor here. Go ahead.
The handcuffs, the badge, the ID, the radio, and the gun.
Okay, Miss Katie got them all right.
Oh, okay. So why do you think we need the handcuffs? So what is the reason for it?
That's why I figured they got to have one.
Go ahead. To arrest, so this is handcuff, right? Okay. What about our badge? Identification, correct. What about our police officers?
So we know.
So, but we have a badge, why would I need my police ID? It's right there. Right there.
Because that would be in by the badge where you identify yourself. What's your ID and your badge number? Is your badge number on your ID?
I do not believe it. I can pass mine around so y'all can see how it works.
The actual ID is two reasons, obviously. One, it gets us into certain buildings throughout the police department and everything. Two, it's identification. It's just like a driver's license. So obviously, you're in a community and officers have to have identification on them, obviously. You got a badge. Everyone who has a badge has a number on the badge, right? So that number identifies me with the Milwaukee Police Department. So my badge number is 1388. So for some reason, something happened out in the street and nobody knew my name, you would say, well, the officer who came to my house, who was very nice, wore a badge 1388. They can look up my number and find out who I am. So we all have to wear our badges and we have to have an ID. And those two things, if you're off duty or on duty, if you're carrying a gun, you have to have those two things. So those are the two most important, obviously.
You do know that officers they wear regular clothes, right? They still have to have that police badge and that police ID.
Even if they're in plain clothes, they have to have another person somewhere. So they can still identify themselves as being an officer.
What about our radio? What's the
Might
importance
need
of that?
help.
Communication amongst other officers and the police station.
Okay, yes, that's communication. Did I hear that? Communication. So we have to talk to our dispatcher and also we can talk to our sergeants, we can talk to each other on the radio. So that's very important for us. And then the last but not least, the gun. Why would we need a gun?
Protection.
Hands. Oh, back here. Why else do we need that gun? Protection.
Protection for us and who else? Others. For you.
Gun.
The gun is a protection for us and for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? We may go into some calls where someone just shot somebody or robbed somebody with a gun. So obviously, I'm going to need a gun to go in too, right? Yeah. Well, after today, that's one of the questions that you probably would strongly disagree on, but now you're going to say strongly.
I have a question.
Oh, question?
I serve as a taser.
Okay. All right.
I want to know, you have a choice. Do you have a choice, first of all? You don't have a choice. Because my choice, when you do the taser, it'll drop him, but it wouldn't kill him.
Okay.
Is that an option?
Oh, no. All right, so, what's your name?
Leela.
Lita. All right, so Lita says that she would choose the taser over the gun. Now, officers, we do carry the taser, correct? Correct. Now, Miss Lita, she's a police officer. She on her taser. She's walking in.